So business has changed, obviously, especially for small businesses. To survive, SMBs have to adapt to a new way of conducting business. There are a number of ways businesses are doing that. We're talking about shifting your business when the world changes today on The Edge.
Your weekly digital marketing trends with industry trend-setting guests. You're listening and watching Edge of the Web. Winners of Best Podcast from the Content Marketing Institute for 2017. Here and see more at edgeofthewebradio.com. Now, here's your host, Aaron Sparks.
All right, this is Edge of the Web Radio, episode 355. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks. Every week we bring you amazing guests to chat with about trending digital marketing news. We unpack a key marketing topic each and every week, and we do that so we can actually deliver some good content to our digital marketing audience. Whether you're a freelancer, whether you're part of an organization, a marketing firm, or whether you're one of the marketers in a large organization or even a small organization, hey, this show is for you. We actually unpack a lot of information regarding search engine optimization, social media marketing, conversion rate optimization on your website development, and what are the key things that you should know about to be able to speed up your website, to be able to get that holy grail traffic that you're looking for. Everything's on the show. If you want to check out what we've been doing over the years, we've been doing this for 8 years. You can go check it out over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. What you'll see there is a slew of information, transcripts of our shows, news blogs of each and every show, an entire archive of videos out there, and much more. So we certainly implore you, get on over there, check it out, and see what we're doing on a regular basis. Every week, we actually roll through on a live YouTube broadcast as what we're doing right now. So thanks for everybody who's watching us live right now. And then we turn around, take that audio from the show, and brush it up a little bit, and then send it out to all the audio podcast aggregators: iTunes, Google Play, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, TuneIn, all this stuff. I think we got like 20 or 25 platforms we send to. So I'm not going to bore you with all those. But if you have your own preferred aggregator platform that you want us to be on, drop us a line. We'll certainly get it out to you. So check out edgeofthewebradio.com. You can see all the information that we're rolling through each and every week. And we talk to some fantastic guests, some incredible thought leaders inside of digital marketing space around the world. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks. I'm the founder and owner of Site Strategics, who is the title sponsor of Edge of the Web Radio. We're the pioneers in agile digital marketing. If you're interested in what that is, it's about results-based marketing. So we actually shift what we watch the dials, we watch the metrics of the performance of these different ad campaigns and digital marketing that we do, and then we shift gears to be able to continually improve the value of what we do for our clients. So if you're interested in what we can do for you, go over to sitestrategics.com. That's SITE strategics.com, or you can call us at 877-736-4932. That's 877 SEO for web. If you want to invert that and play with the alphabet on your phone, go right ahead. We'd love to talk to you. Be happy to give you a free hour consultation and unpack some digital marketing success. All right. With all that, I want to introduce our team member who is in the booth. He's an evil cohort of mine. That is Jacob Mansur.
Evil?
Evil, absolutely.
I wasn't warned that was coming in.
Well, look at your hair, dude.
I can probably get horns.
You got some
out of
horns going on, yeah. That's the only thing I can think of if you're starting to build that entire mane, is that you're going to try and conquer the world.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think the first thing I want to conquer is I want to get a super fan to subscribe to us on every one of those different podcast options that you gave.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably the way to go.
Absolutely. One super fan each and every platform.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Agree with that.
I mean, you're not a super fan unless you've subscribed and listen in all those places.
Oh, wow. There's that.
So 25 hours a week of listening.
To the show. Okay.
Totally
well,
worth it.
There is the listener challenge, everyone. If you're in TuneIn, and everybody's there, right? And that's where all the cool kids are. So go over there and listen to the show and let us know. I think what we need to do is drop a unique show bit into we should really have like 25 different podcasts.
Oh, like Easter eggs.
Easter eggs for all the different
one.
platforms. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm on it.
I'm going to say no. All right. We want to make sure who we're going to be talking to in the upcoming shows. We've got John Wall from Marketing Over Coffee next week. We got Paul Level the following week on the 1st, Jessica Bowman on the 15th of June, Marco Bonomo on the 22nd of June, and the Cool King himself, My Cool King. That's Mike King on the 29th of June as well. So got a great series of guests coming up here. So if you haven't come across one if you've come across one that we haven't interviewed, and we've been doing this for a while now, we'd love to hear about it. So give us a shout over at info@edgeofthewebradio.com. That's info at edgeofthewebradio.com, and we'll see what we can do to connect with that particular guest that you want to hear about. And make sure you set all the reminders. Well, it's just one reminder, not all the reminders on YouTube. How many reminders do they have on YouTube? Just one. Just one. Not all the reminders. We're just asking you to remind yourself on one reminder, not the all. All right. So you can get notified whenever we go live. And so you have quality programming just like this. All right. Edge fans, we want to know a little bit more about you and what you're looking for in the show. So go over to edgeofthewebradio.com and fill out our anonymous poll. We've got a good deal of questions there. It's 5 or 6 bullet points. Just let us know what we can do more of on the show that you're interested in. Completely free of charge. Obviously, it's just a poll, and we're not even asking your email. Just fill it out anonymously so you can let us know how we're doing. All right, that's the show. Housekeeping for episode 355. Let's pivot around to this week's featured guest.
Now it's time for Edge of the Web featured interview with Katy Mann, founder and publisher at indywithkids.com.
All right, we've got Katy Mann in the house. She's the founder of Indy with Kids, and we just want to introduce her and welcome her to the show. Katy, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on today, Aaron.
You are more than welcome. More than welcome. We've had you in the studio before on another podcast that we've had, but this time around we wanted to talk about what you are doing with Indy with Kids, some of the performance that you're looking at, and just some insight into what's been happening in this world of ours. So let's introduce you to our digital marketing audience. Katy, in 2009, made a transition from the corporate world, corporate cubicle, to the not-for-profit arena. And in 2010, Katy and her adventurous husband, Jacob, who the hell wrote this? Yeah, no, there's Jacob right there. That's Katy's benevolent husband and our studio producer. You guys made the switch from winery visitors to poor and tired and crazy state of parenthood. Congratulations there. So you actually jumped in and you've got a mess of kids and you started to roll out this Indy with Kids website. So tell me about this website and what's making it so popular.
So Indy with Kids is considered a hyper-local website. We focus primarily on our immediate community. Our audience is in our immediate community. And we focus on activities and venues and small businesses that local parents or caregivers of children would want to frequent. So we like to say that we help parents build the perpetual best day ever for their kids. And that has always meant going to museums and parks and tie-dye places and, pottery places, just all the fun things, connecting parents with local places.
Which is a fantastic resource, and every city should have a resource like that because parents are all looking for great opportunities to be able to have fun with our kids, educate our kids, and get them away from the set-top boxes. I mean, that's the mission in life as parents, right, is they can fall prey to the Xbox. And let's give them some life experiences. So you have a mess of things regarding all the events around the state as well as, and not just, I mean, you do a tour around the state of some idiosyncrasies of the state, and you did the Pokemon sled up in the northern part of the state, and there's so many unique kind of exposés that you write about. It's a treasure trove for a parent to be able to put together.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. We've used it more than once. Although the perpetual day the best perpetual day. I don't know if we've been able to accomplish that yet, so we'll probably have to come back to the well here. All right, so with that, the world has changed pretty darn radically. So Before we get into that, why don't you give us your own personal history of how you got to develop this Indy with Kids hyper-local website?
Yes. So I just have always loved writing things, and it's always more fun when people read it. So when I started having children, I would talk about the things we were doing online. And a friend of mine had a similar website in Florida, and she helped me start this website, Indy with Kids. And it just kind of answered a problem in the community where there were a lot of other things happening, but nothing that really told families what to do, and nothing where it was all in one place. You know, you had your parenting magazines, you had your nightclub websites and things like that, but this was to be a digest for families to find things to do with their kids, not to tell you how to do things, but tell you what was available to you.
So, I mean, it's a labor of love too, because how many years did you put into this?
We are celebrating 10 years this August, and
Wow.
I know I'm one of those people. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I get very bored very quickly. And it was one of those things where I thought I'll write about it all and then I'll be done. And there is no being done. There just is never any being done. And it's definitely the thing I've stuck with the longest as far as a job or an interest in a hobby. And so I really do love it. I mean, it's just part of our life. It's just something we do. It's like eating, drinking, and Indy with Kids.
Pretty much. And Jacob's he's nodding his head over there because that you guys have sewn that into your home culture, and that's something about loving what you do and being able to make such a good contribution to a community. I mean, it's a rarity to actually have this story, and we really don't talk that much to localized type of content curators and content creators. So I mean, it's great to be able to have this type of focus. Ultimately, as you've been doing this for 10 years and plus, you have a good deal of relationships with community, but you also have a good deal of relationship building with different businesses across the state, right?
Yes, yes. We have worked very closely with almost anyone that you can imagine, whether that's by giving them earned media or by actually having sponsorship and partnerships with them in a financial agreement. And then, of course, we pride ourselves on the fact that families trust us. We only write about or share videos about things that we actually love, and we only invite people into partnership with us if it's a company that we love, a business that we want to support, and a business that we want to see our audience go support.
Which is fantastic. So there's a lot of businesses that didn't really realize how important community was. Give or take. I mean, being able to be part of a site like yourself and be able to also have you back in return visiting and be able to share what they're doing with the community. That sometimes is a rarity to businesses, that they realize their connection and a lot of times their obligations of community. Right.
Right. Right.
Well, let me ask you this. I want to talk about the success of the site over time. As the site's been around for 10 years, but you have certainly grown in visibility and grown in search. Tell me about some of the stats that you've experienced here over the recent years.
So we typically have a little bit over 1 million page views per year. We go beyond that every now and then, but we're pretty consistent, and consistent in the last few years, I would say. We see growth every single year, but it's just definitely very organic growth. We don't really do a lot of Google ads or anything like that. We just operate on organic search. We create a lot of content, and we create a lot of very niche content. So because we are writing about a very specific topic, a very specific area, Google tends to appreciate that. And we try to keep our content updated. With running a website for 10 years, you find a lot of old garbage on the website. And when people stumble upon that, I hear about it for sure. our dating sequence has changed as far as how we date our posts and share that something's updated has changed. And so every now and then you get somebody where they went to an air show that happened on the 7th, which was a Saturday, which was also a Saturday 6 years ago.
Oh
they
my.
just found it on Google by asking what there was to do on Saturday the 7th. So we'll hear about it from the audience. We'll hear about it from the air show that didn't happen. And we'll definitely, so, you know, that's kind of always the challenge, is making sure that that content is up to date, because it's a big trust factor with your audience, you know? And it's a trust factor with Google as well. Like if you aren't doing that and people are reporting that this is incorrect information, then it's going to affect you in the long term. So that has definitely become a huge focus of ours in the last couple of years. So,
but at the same time, the consumer has a bit of an onus here as well. If you look at the date and it's last year, don't go to the bloody event. Right.
Right. But in this society of skimming, I mean, you know, we all skim and read things and we see exactly what we want. We pull the information that we think we need out of it and we go. And I want people to be able to do that. I want to offer that to them. And so, you know, I look back at where we were 10 years ago almost, and I see those posts and it's so painful to delete them, because it's kind of like this piece of you, you know, it's like deleting a memory or something.
Oh, wow.
You know, because we did start as a blog, is what people would call it, where I was blogging my adventures. I was sharing my feelings and my history in it. And then we, you know, within 3 years just became a resource. And it's kind of like people get so irritated with recipe blogs because there's this story about their great grandmother and then they share their grandmother's recipe. Well, that's kind of what we used to be, but we pivoted because it wasn't what people were looking for. And that's actually when we did really well, is once we found out what the consumer actually wanted and we went for it. We weren't just trying to write for Google only, but also for the consumer. That's when things exploded.
There you go.
And then of course we've learned along the way, like how to do both. How do you write for search engine traffic? And then how do you also write to please the consumer? So we learn more every day.
Oh, absolutely. And it's an incredibly shareable topic. I mean, I can only assume that your posts get maybe 20, 30 likes immediately, or shares in the space. So there's so many other links that are coming to these deep pockets of content. Over time, I can imagine it's very stratified. It's not just the homepage. You've got some really deep bootstraps from the entire world referencing your content, right?
Right. I mean, and again, it's so painful to delete those things sometimes, but so necessary. I mean, I remember when I think it was like Pop Sugar or USA Today picked up on a event that we were promoting for the Girl Scouts, and they shared it across their network. And then to know that like that link was no longer necessary, it was so hard to delete that backlink or figure out how to redirect it. You know, there was a lot of research going into how do we treat this, because we don't want to lose this valuable backlink. So it's very hard to go and assess all of those. But
you kind of sent your blog post to a 301 farm, huh?
Yep.
Where it can be happy all the day long.
All the day long.
All right, I want to throw some stats up on screen for you, and I kind of teased it before we went live on this, but have a look here. SEM Rush is reporting, look at this traffic jump here, and just compared to a month ago, your keywords are up 7%, 33% increase in organic traffic compared to a month ago. And from the equity standpoint, if you were to pay those pay AdWords for those terms, you're up 43% in value for the domain just in the last 30 days. So what incredible stats here. But look at this one. This is from Systrix, this next chart. And what you're seeing here is the two core algorithm updates, A and B. B just happened, obviously, May 4th. Right? You are skyrocketing in value right here. As you can see, it's exploded, and a huge amount of new terms, and from such an amount of time. This is a 2-week span. That
Right.
increase right there took you pretty much 8 years, right? 9 years to get to what you've just accomplished in the last 2 weeks of
Right.
visibility.
Overnight success 10
Overnight
years
success.
later.
Well, I mean, this is the deal. We're talking hyper local, right?
Right.
So
Right.
everything has changed in a blink of an eye, and your site is obviously benefiting from it. But you've been doing this, and it's not overnight success, obviously. But
Right.
what you're seeing is Google is shifting, and we've been talking about it from a core algorithm update. They're shifting and putting content in front of users based on the search intent that has shifted as well. We are all searching differently than we were 3 months ago, and you certainly had a good steady rise there, but this demonstrates an incredible pivot of visibility right after the algorithm update. So kudos. I
Thank you.
wanted to share that with you, and they were wondering before the show, okay, what's going to be going on here? But
What bomb are you going to drop on us?
now you know me better than that. I wouldn't do that to you. So it had to be good, but it was very, very relevant to what we're talking about from the Google Core update, because it is important to understand context and what an incredible example of a site is that is localized information that is valuable to the consumer. And you've also shifted the type of content, because the whole deal is that you're event oriented. The entire scope of content is to go to these places.
Right.
So with everything shut down, and hopefully that won't be for very much longer, what did you have to do in your storylines and your content to be able to be more relevant to your consumers right now?
Wow. I feel like I haven't slept in 3 months, but that's the honest truth. The day that I found out my kids were going to come home from school and be home, was a very hyper crazy day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the phone all day. It hadn't broken in the news yet, but we knew. And so we were preparing content for that news to come out.
Right.
And beyond that, I just didn't really know what I would do, but I knew that it was going to affect my business in what could be a very negative way.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that even if it was a 2-week shutdown, which is what initially was projected, I knew that many of our business partners who, pay for advertising on the site, that 2 weeks of being closed
Mm-hmm.
would just be a catastrophe. And they don't know how to pivot. It was so fast. It's not like we had this huge amount of time to prepare for it.
Right.
We just duck and cover. And so just sitting there and trying to think like, okay, is my family going to be okay? Are we going to be able to pay our mortgage? That, of course, is everybody's first thought, like, how will I take care of my family? And then you start thinking about the other families that are affected. And you think about the businesses that you've worked with for a long time. You think about the community members who you've communicated with and built relationships with. Oh, you talked about your super fans at the beginning of the podcast. I mean, there's so many people out there who have supported our business
Mm-hmm.
just by being online, by commenting, by liking, by sharing, by telling their friends. And you think about them and you just feel this need to make everything okay. And so I knew we were going to have to do something different. I didn't know what it was going to be until that Thursday night. I think it was a Thursday night of March 13th. All of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, we need to still be able to take people to these places, but we need to do it virtually. And of course, everybody had that idea, over the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But right away, I got on the phone with a business that I have never worked with. I have wanted to work with this business. It's an art studio on a different side of town that we live on.
Mm-hmm.
And she does a lot of art classes for kids. And I said, hey, I know we've never worked together, but I want to help you tell people about your studio so that in 2 weeks, when people are going to be starting to plan summer camp and things like that, that they know about your business, that you're still on the grid even if you have to shut down for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so we had a really good conversation. She told me, she said, I was feeling so down and discouraged about this whole thing until I got your phone call. And so we did that with 40 businesses, 40 different businesses since this started, where every morning for about 4 weeks, 5 days a week, we got up in the morning, logged on, and remotely went, kind of like we're doing now, to this place of business or into this business owner's living room. And they taught a play date, is what we called it, for the kids, whether it was a story time and then you got to see baby cows on a farm, or it was an art class. And then the next day it was a cooking class for kids. We've done this almost 40 times at this point.
Wow.
And no exchange of money, no exchange of promises for later. Of course, I hope that when everything's okay for everybody else, that they'll think of us when they want to bring people back into their businesses, but no expectation whatsoever. We are not a pay-to-play website. Our customer, as we see it, is the community, is our readers. And if we can find other businesses to partner alongside with us to make that happen, that's always a plus. But it's been fantastic. And not only was I able to help the community, our audience, find something for their kids to do for 45 minutes a day, and help those local businesses stay on people's radar, introduce them to a new audience, but it helped my business. It helped put me on the radar during this whole time. Have thousands of people tune in every day, see my face, see my logo, learn what Indy with Kids is all about, and see us still making these valuable connections between community, business, and our website.
All right, just drop the mic. She did everything right there. That is awesome, and
You need
that's
me to roll the credits.
yeah. We might as well just and cut. All right, so and that's a great picture of an organization pivoting to be able to accommodate its users, and it's a great great case study in how you change to meet the needs of your consumers and what you can do to innovate in that space. And you have a unique platform to be able to do that type of pivot and that type of content. What have you seen from businesses that you may have an affiliation with, businesses being able to do something to the degree of pivot? Not what you did, obviously, but with your relationships, you certainly are aware of businesses that needed to change what they're doing, what they're delivering. This 40 or so businesses that you've reached out to and worked with, are you getting a sense of some unique stories of what they've done to be able to meet the needs of their customers?
Yes, so we've seen a lot of them actually go virtual themselves. They see that the tools are available. I've actually consulted with a few different people, which has also brought income and revenue in for me when available.
Yep.
But we've seen them pivot as well. We've seen them offer virtual classes. The big thing right now is summer camps. Like a lot of summer camps can't afford to run a half full summer camp or have the amount of staff that they would need for the intense cleaning and sanitization. So they have to, call things off or offer it online.
Yep.
And so we're seeing that happen a lot. I think that's been the biggest part of this, is that there was enough time to see that there are tools available. There are opportunities to still, make that pivot, make that change. We've seen people offer the pickup, do-it-yourself kits, which is very popular, especially with children. Decorate your own cookies. We saw a man who he doesn't run a business typically for families, but he creates these woodworking projects for children and
cool.
Leaves them in his driveway. And then he puts up a video on his Facebook page every week to show the kids how to assemble it. And he provides these for free.
That is awesome.
That is so awesome. And you know what's going to happen is I know that he works he's a woodworker of some sort. And so do you know when I'm going to have my cabinets eventually built in my living room, whenever that happens, you know who I'm going to go look at first? Are those people who are out there helping, who are out there being a part of the community and trying to make things better in a place where it felt dark and gloomy and impossible.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. This is the branding moment, and it's not. It's your initial motivation is not to leverage brand, but for local businesses, if they can do something like this, we have a memory, and as soon as we come out of this shutdown, those companies are going to be the ones that stand out and will get our dollars.
Exactly. And I think right now is the best time to work on that branding. You showed me our site stats and the way that Google affected that.
Mm-hmm.
And we made a pivot in our content and the type of content that we're offering, but also back when this all started and we knew we had to make some hard decisions as far as how much staff to keep on our team, how much content to actually pay to put out there. I don't create all the content myself. So we had to really cut back on that, but really the opportunity for content also just naturally kind of fell by the wayside. But we thought about maybe trying to do like a GoFundMe or something where we raised money for our team to stay intact and to continue to put out this massive volume of content every day. And we saw other publishers doing the same thing. And so we knew it would be successful. We knew that we could ask our community for that. But instead, I realized that there were some things I wanted to do with the website that were already, the ball was rolling on it. And financially, I was obligated to it in a way. But I felt that it would feel disingenuous if we raised money and then came up with a new website of some sort or started something new.
Right.
So instead of doing that, we just decided to just keep working, keep plugging away what we're doing, make a few cuts. We still have our full team. We're just not operating at full capacity at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided to go ahead and continue with a portion of our website. A refresh is basically what it is. I mentioned that, we've had all this content on there for 10 years. And so we've spent this time really, really, really fine tuning our content, making it look the way we want it to look. We refreshed our website. And by not accepting money from donors or from the government, I didn't feel that we had to answer to anybody else. Like
Sure.
we could do the things we wanted to do, the way we wanted to do them, and still be able to fulfill our mission just in a different way. And it was hard to make those decisions, but we're better for it. I mean, look, our web traffic is up. We're providing a cleaner space for people to land. It's still in development, and we did end up breaking it up into different phases. But this is the time to really, if you have that time, invest it into the things that you never have time for. I'm not saying I have all this spare time. Now I have 4 children at home. We're schooling all of them. There's all these things going on. But I guess if there's a place that's not using your time anymore, if you can find a way to invest back into your business with that time, this is the time to do it. And I think that in addition to the Google update, I think that that's paying off as well.
Yep. Have you, as well said, very well said, have you seen some poorly executed pivots of businesses here recently? Not to be a completely downer, but
yeah, I haven't.
Good.
I think the hardest thing is that you see people that have to give up, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it was poorly executed. Only they know how far. I mean, there may come a time where maybe this just isn't something that financially we could hold anymore.
Right.
We lost 99% of our revenue overnight. I mean, it was gone. And other than any money that we had in the bank with all the outstanding invoices, it was hard. And so when you're in that position, it's not to say that giving up is a poor execution. I mean, you have to, and maybe that's the best execution.
Right.
It also doesn't mean it's over for you. I mean, you could be resurrected in a new way. There can be a whole new plan for you out there. You're opening yourself up to being available for whatever's next. And so that's what I love about all of this. But I don't know. I've seen so many people hurt by this, and it's so encouraging to them to see them say, like, I had a friend who lost over $30,000 in expected revenue for contracts she had for like 4th of July festivals and things that are not taking place. And she's a small business, like 2 people. I mean, and so to lose that amount of income in that short amount of time, she's been very positive about it. She goes, well, there goes that. But here's what we're going to do. And I just love that attitude. Like, there goes that, but here's what we're going to do. So instead of saying like, oh, like this is so terrible, look back, look back, look back, like she's looking forward. She's moving on. We've seen the Children's Museum here, the world's largest children's museum, has projected that they'll lose between $4 and $7 million. And I know that's not necessarily considered a small business, but it's a not-for-profit, it's donor-based. And that doesn't, my understanding is that doesn't even include what they've lost in their investment funds, you know, in their capital fund and things like that, endowment.
Wow.
That's just from like revenue from parties and weddings and admissions and things like that. And it's just so hard to imagine like how people will recover from this, but they say this was this, and here's what we need to do now. And they're asking for help, and there's nothing wrong in asking for help. There's nothing wrong. Just some businesses may choose not to ask for that help because it sometimes does have strings attached and judgments attached.
Right. No, you're right. Those are some painful experiences there, but to be able to see that individuals are actually pivoting and changing with that level of, okay, what is next? What can we do to be able to adjust? I mean, that's critical for this country to be able to move past this space. And the technology's here. We have the tools to be able to change what we're delivering or how we're delivering it. But you should be very proud of yourself to showcase these type of businesses, and you're continuing to lift up businesses that are changing and delivering content to and product to the world in a different manner. Right.
Right.
Well,
it's an honor.
Yeah, that is awesome. So let me ask you this. Let's change over to the consumer side of things for a second. Social media is exploding because we have nowhere to go. So there's certainly an aptitude to jump in and lift up businesses. You certainly have been getting a lift from social. But have you noticed a higher degree of engagement with your posts and with your content compared to pre-COVID?
Oh, so you're speaking of social media, not web, right? Just to clarify.
Yeah, absolutely,
okay.
absolutely.
So, we had a period of very high engagement, and it was different engagement, because what we were doing was different. And then we had a time where it was low, and we're starting to see as things open back up, for better or worse, that we're getting comments and tons of interaction, thousands of shares on specific articles, not on everything. We don't have that on everything. I'll put something
awesome.
And nobody will say a word. But it just depends on the type of content, and we see it go viral beyond our immediate audience because people are hungry to go somewhere, and we maybe end up bringing people to our community that weren't necessarily engaged in it before. And some of the engagement is not positive that I've seen out there, not necessarily on our direct platforms, but maybe referring to things that we're sharing.
That is very diplomatic of you, how you said that.
So it's disappointing to see that, because I don't agree with everything I see on social media, and I don't agree with everything that is opening up necessarily or staying closed. However, that's not my job. My job is to share what's happening, and if I don't like it, I either share it or don't share it, and I move on. It's not my place to say how somebody runs their business or doesn't run it. And people are being very mean. It's not always encouraging to see. And I can't imagine running a brick and mortar location right now. I feel so much pain for those people because they're making really hard decisions on top of hard decisions on top of hard decisions.
Absolutely.
Day in and day out. And it's going to be months or years of these. And how people react as a business is going to really have an effect on where this goes. And I'm just so glad I'm not in that position. My words of wisdom are maybe just don't say anything. You can hide comments, you can delete comments, and then you'll get, attacked for doing that. But, that's your place. You have the opportunity to keep it clean. Keep it clean. And how you react is going to offend 50% of society. And so you just have to stay true to yourself and just keep on doing your business. Your business is not to fight with people, unless that's what your business is. but just say what you're doing and do it. And you can listen. Maybe you'll glean some wisdom from what other people are saying, but like this is yours. You have to do what you have to do with it, but just be careful what you say on there because screenshots live forever.
Yeah, they do. So are you witnessing a kind of a lower threshold of forgiveness from social media regarding businesses and other private citizens? Is that again a little bit more diplomatic? But are you seeing that type of behavior out there?
Yeah, seeing a lot of entitled behavior is I guess the word that everybody uses. Just people have an opinion about everybody else's business and everybody else's thoughts and feelings. I see a lot of social media posts, starting with a disclaimer like, I'm not looking for your opinion here. I'm asking what the fact is here. So people are starting with that, or this may not be for you, but this is what I'm doing,
right,
and then saying something. So I'm seeing that a lot with people.
You put qualifying statements on everything that you're posting nowadays.
Like you have to make an excuse for yourself for the decisions that you're making. And it's so hard. It is so hard. And I mean, we live in the public light, our family does. So I take that to heart and I try to be very responsible with that fact. And so, I had a hurtful comment made to me recently, just on Saturday, and it kind of railroaded my day. And I just sat there and I had to tell myself, this person's hurting. People are hurting out there. They're scared. They're anxious. I don't know what's going on in their life. There's a lot of, just tension across the board,
right,
economic, religious, racial. There's just so much tension out there. And I'm just going to ignore. And it was so hard because for me, it's unfinished because I want to sit there and say, no, this is how it is. But I had to just tell myself, I don't know where they're coming from, but I know where I'm coming from. And I just have to let that be enough because so many people are angry. They're so angry. They're so hurt. They're so scared. And if you can look at this, at every situation that way, that these consumers are leaving negative feedback and it hurts. It hurts.
That's why Google, my business, actually shut down the ability to leave reviews for a period of time as well. Yeah, they dampened all that just for the sheer fact of this type of behavior. Yes, Jacob.
I was going to say it's a good thing that my wife is so diplomatic because I was in her ear saying, you should say this, you should say that. And she's like, I think I'm just going to stay quiet. Good choice.
And I make bad decisions all the time where I probably should just stay quiet and I don't. But in this time, I really have to say, like, if I were to approach this person, it would be more about my pride, not about my purpose. And I just have to remember what's my purpose. And honestly, I went and looked at what this person was referring to just to check. Like I'm open to feedback. And I went and I looked and I checked myself. I rechecked myself. I checked it with a friend and I was right. I did not come across badly. It's just the way that people are reading things. We all have a filter of whatever our experience is right now.
Right.
And it's hypercharged and it's painful. And I just have to remember that when I'm dealing with people as well.
So one could say from this particular conversation that we have not matured as a society inside of social media. And this is where we all have clamored to since we have been sheltering in place. There's a lot of engagement that businesses should avoid in that space because you got a lot of hurt people, a lot of stressed out people, and it's very easy to not, I wouldn't say deliver poor, but be perceived as delivering something that doesn't match someone's desired goal. And now you're lambasted in social media, and it is literally a billiard game. Is that somebody bounces off of somebody else and somebody else, and it's just it can absorb you as a business owner, just trying to tamp out these little fires where it's not that we caution everybody not to go into social media, but you got to know what you're getting into as you're forthcoming with more information online. We certainly want to steer businesses to be able to connect locally and communicate what's going on with their organization and be able to help communities. But you got to be prepared for that flash in the pan mentality of some people and that are just wired to be upset, and social media is their grandstanding moment, right?
Social media is a tool, not a weapon.
Or one could say there are some tools in social media. Just saying. All right. But you know what you are entitled to? You're entitled to a free newsletter subscription from Edge of the Web. So if you want to go over and sign up right now at edgeofthewebradio.com, you'll be able to get all this information that we talk about on the show each and every week, and all the stories that we cover, the interview that we had, as well as find out who we're going to be talking to next, all directly into your inbox. You can text to the number 22828, the word Edge Talk, be able to sign up right then and there. I mean, you're entitled to this. Come on. Take advantage of the situation. All right. How about that for a commercial? All right. Swinging back. Last bit of ground I want to cover with you, Katy, is that we're talking about businesses and being forthcoming in the virtual space, sharing and pivoting type of content that they need, that services that they need to provide consumers. And then you also have the consumers that, for better or for worse, have embraced social media even further, and they're not nearly as disciplined as you would like them to be. Now, we're about to be in a post-COVID world. Do you see us getting back to normal, snapping back to normal to a greater proportion? Are we going to be reset, or are we now going to be in a new hybrid type of environment here?
Ooh, that's a big question. So no, we're never going to be back to the same way we were at all. It just can't happen. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There will be bad parts of this. There will be painful parts for all of us. But there will also be wonderful parts. I have some friends who received news from their office this week that they will never be returning to work in the office building. They will work from home forever. And some of them are thrilled with this. Others were not thrilled at all. Right. But I've heard that with more than one friend, and that's just in a group of 6 people that I talk to every day. And so nothing's going to be the same. We're going to see a lot more virtual. We're going to see people engaging more. And I don't know when the actual post-COVID world starts. I see us continuing in this way and offering these options for people for a long time, because there will be some people who are not ready to emerge quite yet for various reasons. And so I think that we're going to see businesses, especially in the area that I work, offering those at-home experiences and the in-person experiences as they reopen. I think we're going to see employers doing more work from home options, and especially I feel like maybe in some sectors, there will be a lot more respect for sick days, as far as when someone's sick or their child is sick, allowing them to stay home and be sick, whether that means working from home even, or actually taking that time to rest and get well. I feel like in some areas, we're going to actually see that shift a little bit. Right. That's my hope anyway. And I think that education is going to be completely different for who knows how long.
Absolutely.
We're all still waiting to see that. And you know what? That's going to provide a lot of opportunities for people and for other businesses if they're able to find these places that are going to have pain points. Education is going to have a ton of pain points, a ton of things that need to be solved. And so there's going to be so much opportunity there. We're going to see the same with the work from home situation. You know, how many chairs did IKEA sell, you know, those first couple of weeks?
Right.
So there's going to be different opportunities. We'll see some things go away that we took for granted or that just are of no use to us anymore, but we will see opportunities and you just have to look for them. I'm looking for them. So.
Well, I mean, that's an incredible sentiment here. I think you're right. Is that the world's not going to be the same? And in all frankness, maybe this was this was the next kind of evolution of society here, is to embrace the tools that we have, but also embrace the communication differences we have and be able to come and support each other, right? It's so sad that we had to have a calamity like this to be able to force us into these type of new connections. But you've got a very good positive perspective on that, is that there's going to be something new out of this that we can benefit from here, both locally and nationally and worldwide. So with that, any final thoughts for people that are struggling with the pivot, so to speak? What would you give them as some guide points?
Oh, just look for where you're finding pain points in your own daily life and figure out if fixing those fits in with the mission of what you're currently doing, or is it time to start something new?
Very good. Very good. Well, is there something that we can promote for you on the show today? We certainly want to have everybody go to indywithkids.com, especially if you're in Indianapolis, because it's a fantastic resource for families. But anything else on the horizon that we can promote for you?
Yes. So yeah, if you're local, definitely check out Indy with Kids. Follow us on all of our social media. But we have a new website, a new whole brand that we've launched that you can sign up now and you'll get things in your inbox starting soon. But we have started DIY summer camps. So a little pivot there for us this year to answer the call that, you know, there's not going to be a lot of summer camp opportunities available that are not so crowded already because everybody's getting canceled and taking advantage of the ones still available.
Yep.
But we can help parents and other caregivers plan your own summer camp experience in the backyard. Just awesome. Some activities to do. So DIYsummercamps.com.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, I got to ask you, do you have the inside straight on where people can get a swimming pool? I tell you what. First it was toilet paper. Now it's swimming pools. They're nowhere to be found because of this very thing.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to tell you, but I am looking at several water attractions for our backyard right now because about a month ago, someone said none of the pools are going to open this summer. And if that takes place, you need to have a swimming pool. Go order it now. And I went online and there was already a shortage. So I bought splash pads, I bought sprinklers, I bought water guns, and I bought a swimming pool. Not a big one. Not a big one. But yep, look online, keep looking, and look on the marketplace and get them used. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I know there's price gouging going on right now. What was there 2 months ago is 3 times as much right now. So I literally spent my Sunday hunting between, I think, 6 to 7 different stores, tracking down a swimming pool.
So check out some of the farm supply stores.
Yeah,
they have trampolines and swimming pools.
Absolutely. Yep. And heck, buy a food trough, a water trough that you feed horses with. Throw the kids in there. I mean, do something.
Dig a hole.
Well, that was honestly, what a great call industry that could be for somebody who knows how to make pools, right? And can go around and be able to do a quick custom pool build out for a 15-foot pool. I mean, what a fantastic pivotable moment.
Find the pain point and create an industry.
All right, so we certainly recommend everybody find the pain points. Is there? I got to ask you: is what bugs you right now about your industry that you're in?
Oh, I don't know if anything bugs me.
Nothing, because you're too positive.
I know. Today's a good day. I could be positive today. You know, I have not been disappointed. I feel like I've seen so much good stuff. I really have. I'm not just saying that. I think there's been so much good stuff. I think I've seen people aligning with people that they didn't previously align with. When a new donut shop opened in our community, all the restaurants in that community promoted that donut shop and said, hey, they just opened today. And it was right in the midst of this pandemic. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, I'm going to go eat at that restaurant. I'm going to eat at that restaurant. And I'm going to eat at that restaurant as soon as I can, because to promote the business right next to you, I mean, I just love it. I've not been disappointed. I have hurt for people, but I have not been disappointed.
All right, cool. And we certainly recommend shop local wherever you can. Just to let you know, Katy, you've got Moms LA, Plano Moms, all wishing you the best. And thank you for what a great story you have going on. And literally 365 Cincinnati was doing a woot woot for you. So very cool. Congratulations on the success. And we're certainly lifting you up from here. Let us know if we can do anything for you. All right, so thanks so much, Katy, for all your time today, and we'll certainly hear more about your ventures and stories, because I can't get rid of this guy, so I'm always hearing what the hell's going on in the Mann household.
Excellent.
All right, thanks so much, Katy. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
All right, we're more than welcome. All right, so be sure to check out all the trending news that we covered with Katy on our bonus podcast episode of 355, and check out the bonus YouTube videos as well. Probably be out tomorrow, so to speak. All right, so follow Indy with Kids over at Indy with Kids on Twitter. Go to indywithkids.com. It's great to be able to see what's happening with this hyper-local website, and it certainly does show what Google is pivoting around from a content focus standpoint. So we want to be able to show that data and show that data regularly for the sites that we come across. All right, for all of us at Edge, make sure that you go and like, subscribe, and get yourself a reminder when we go live next week. And be sure to check out all the videos and much more information over edgeofthewebradio.com, edgeofthewebradio.com. Hey, and if you wouldn't mind, go over to iTunes and give us a review, because we'd certainly like to hear what you have to say. Next week, we have John Wall of Marketing Over Coffee. We're going to talk about podcasting during this particular time in life, and what you as a business can do to be able to create your first podcast. So make sure you check out that show next week, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.